Hello and welcome to the tutorial on how to make a felt rose. I'm going to be working with an 8.5 by 11 piece of felt that you can get at any craft store, and I will also be using this pair of scissors. You can use any sharp pair of scissors that you have in your sewing kit, and we'll start with the felt piece and then we will make it into a circle. To make it into a circle, you can either freehand to make it into a circle, or you could take a bowl from your kitchen and trace around the felt and then cut it out like that. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. From this point, we're going to start off at any part of the circle, and what you'll do is you'll start cutting, and you'll probably do like 3/4 of an inch around. It doesn't have to be precise, but the depth or the cut here will be 3/4 of an inch from this side. And we'll go and take that and keep making it into a circle here by cutting around. It doesn't have to be perfect. All the flowers in the world are not exactly the same, and that's what makes things individual, unique. So we'll continue to cut this all the way until almost the very end, and then the end we're going to just keep a little flap there so we can finish the end of the felt rose and make a little piece that we can attach it to other of our projects. So continue to cut around here. I'm not speeding up the video because I think for instructional purposes it's best to see where I'm going with this. So we'll just leave this little circle here at the end. And the size of your rose will depend on how long your strand of felt is, and also the depth or the width that you cut it. So once you get it to the end here, we're going to start making our petals for our felt rose. And how you make the petal part of it is you just start out here at the end and you cut into the fabric, almost making hills. You can call these hills or mountains. Just continue to make these little humps in your felt fabric, and you'll continue all the way down to the end. I'll make a few more cuts, and then what I'll do is I'll unravel the rose that we're actually going to construct from our felt. It really doesn't matter how deep your valley on your little heel goes. Just make sure you don't cut it off, because these are making your petals for your felt rose. So once you've got the hang of that and you've continued to make it all the way down to the bottom, I'm going to give you this rose here that we're going to use for demonstration. This is our finished project, but I'm going to unravel this. And once it's unraveled, we're going to put it back together again. Now, I like to use hot glue to glue my felt rose together. You can also probably use fabric glue if you have that available. If not, you don't have those items yet and you have to go to the store, you can either wait to assemble these, or you can assemble it and put glue on it later on. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it without glue, and I'll show you how to assemble your felt flower. So you'll just start and pinch this together and just make a circle. And you're going to just turn and twist this so it starts looking like we're making a little rosebud. And the felt will start coming together and looking like we're making some petals around that. And what's nice about this is if you wanted a smaller rose, you could actually cut off from this that we made, and you could make smaller roses, and you could just slice you know, your felt off and make like a rosebud at this point for your project. I'm, for demonstration purposes, going to make a larger rose, but I do have a variety of roses here, and depending on the size that you made your felt, that's how your rose ends up turning out. If you don't want it really thick, then you can make it a little bit thinner. And I have like a small rose here where I've made it, you know, a little bit thinner, but the concept is still the same. You make your little heels there. So once you're done raveling your rose back up, you'll see that at any point you could stop if you liked that part of the rose. I use these roses that I make for a variety of projects that I make for friends and such. The reason why I have you complete with the end here, and I'll show you because I've made mistakes in the past and I've learned that it's really easy to finish your project if you have the bottom portion on there. So I'm going to show you this one, and I've glued it with hot glue on the bottom so it's like finished. If it's not finished, then you have some uneven areas in here and it takes up a lot more glue. Here you're able to control your hot glue a little bit better for your project. So the things that you can use once you've got your rose made is one of these baby headbands. All I've done is taken the rose, done a hot glue to the fabric of this headband, and then in the middle I added a button that you can get at the craft store, and it's a button for a shirt, and I just added a little blob of hot glue and popped it on there and let that dry, and that makes a cute headband for a baby. Another thing that's gotten a little popular is something, I say it's mixed media. And if you do the acrylic pour and you wanted to add a little bit of dimension to this before hanging it on the wall, you could pop on some flowers in the same color pattern that you had there, you know, and that adds a little bit to it. So there you have it. If you've liked this tutorial about making felt roses, please hit like. If you have comments, leave them in the comment section.